know if you have the grit.
Love what you're doing over the Moto. Money, MoneyVation.
What's going on, guys? Me, Sam Martinez. Thanks for checking out our podcast again. Once again, doing the drill, who I am, just in case you don't know me. I'm CEO or direct owner of Elite Loan Advisors. We're a direct lender. We do all types of loans, hard money, first-time home buyers, down payment assistance across the board. We have clients across the board. That's what we do. We're also a real estate brokerage. I'm a broker. So we do a lot. We've had the great pleasure and blessing of being able to help being involved with close to 1,000 transactions. So we know a lot about investing in real estate, in lending and investments. That note, I wanted to make this. I think this is a great subject. I couldn't include all the aspects of this key step for success in real estate, but I definitely want to emphasize it. I always emphasize one thing is loans. Anybody who's familiar with any of our podcasts know that I say just as important as finding a great deal is having a great loan. I'm still true to that. That is just as important as anything, finding the right loan. However, there's one other key step I wanted to mention, and that is the step of inspections on any property. Inspections. What that is once you found the right place, or you think you found the right place, and you're officially in contract, you put in that deposit. The next step is you have your right to inspections. And there is a pest inspection, there's a home inspection, there's a roof inspection, there's plumbing inspections. You have typically a time period of 3 weeks is the norm, 21 days to complete all your inspections and assess the damage. Many times in this phase, and I talk from experience. Many times in this phase, it'll go from an excellent deal to run away with your money and get out as fast as you possibly can. Type situations. One key important thing is, once again, it falls back on what type of professionals you're working with. Who is your realtor? Who's coaching you? Who's helping you make the right decisions? It also it's your expertise. If you yourself are a carpenter or one of the professions of plumbing or electrical along those lines, or concrete worker, then what might scare some people or might be pricey for some people might be something you might be able to handle. I always encourage. It's always good to have a nice small team, of individuals before you get into buying a house or investing. That way, you know who to talk to, or on that and along those lines. I gotta say, second opinions is extremely important in this phase. Why I say that is, sometimes if you hire bigger name inspection companies, there's tons of them. Just like in any industry, there's big names where they're just, rather than a smaller or an individual you might know, they all give you quotes. When you do an inspection, let's just say you send a plumber to do an inspection. Let me use home inspector. There's mom and papa shop home inspections, and then there's big company home inspectors. Typically, the bigger the company, they're gonna give the bigger the bill. With all due respect, because it's their job to give you a quote, and inherently they're trying to get work out of this. So the inspections are pretty inexpensive, range anywhere from $100 for a pest inspection and $200 for a roof inspection to $600 or $700 on a home inspection. They all obviously have their own expertise, and the quote that comes with it is they give you a report and a quote typically, and the quote, sometimes it's good to get a second opinion. One home inspector might quote you that a house needs $40,000 in work, and you might know another inspector or find a friend or a family member who has experience in all the things that are referenced in the report that need to be repaired, and they'll tell you they can fix it in under $10,000. It's happened. It's the truth. Once again, a lot of time inspection companies are there get work. Not only that, though, they are there to protect you. Sometimes a big bill can be leverage. That's the way I look at it. You might get a big, a hefty repairs bill that you present to the sellers and say, hey, this has got to be fixed. It's a negotiation point. Other times, even then, their agent can see through some of the stuff and say, well, let us get a second opinion. They'll get their own inspectors, which they have the right to do, and get a quote. But this is a key phase, like where I say it's one of the most important steps of the whole entire transaction is finding the deal, getting the loan. The loan and the deal are just side by side in importance. And the next phase is how you approach the inspections phase of it. It's better to spend the extra couple $100 and get a thorough everything covered. Also take in consideration the age of the house and the physical condition appearance of the house. Sometimes you can eyeball it in general to say, oh, this is a newer house. You might not need a roof inspection if the house is less than 10 years old. Or for example, roof might not be necessary, or other things along those lines. Plumbing is another one where, hey, it's a matter of you might want to do some history checks in the area. And one key thing I want to mention here is this once again falls back on which professionals you're working with. I talk from experiences. Even if you're in the right, and let's say you have a lot of leverage, being a statesman, being respectful in your approach, and approaching it with finesse can save deals. Many times, ultimately, you're just trying to get the sellers to agree with you or agree to do some repairs and lessen the burden. Because even if there's a tremendous amount of repairs and the deal is no longer worth your time, if you know how to negotiate right, if you're a statesman, if you're if you present it properly to the sellers, many times you can come to an agreement and salvage the deal. Now, opposed to that, I've seen many agents. Once again, it's the people you work with, the agents, or the client not knowing how to coach, or the agent not knowing how to coach their client, or the client just who they are, being more of a bitter, confrontational standoff position with any repairs or inspections. That ultimately always leads to just friction. Friction is what you want to avoid in any type of transaction. Once again, you just got to be smooth, I guess is a good way to say it, of how you approach, present things and see if you can reach an agreement. Of course, know when to be firm, but always, make that be known why and where and how, so they can see where you're coming from. But just being in a standoffish, manner, this is somehow agents react, or clients. I've seen them more times than not just result in just no good for no one. It's just a waste of time, and it causing friction. It gives you a bad reputation as an agent, and your client. You don't want to work with clients like that. Sometimes you got to coach them up. When I was younger in the industry, many times agents don't know how to maybe coach a client and say, hey, we don't want to be so aggressive. Or know how or when when to be aggressive and how to present it, rather than just being standoffish. So those are the key things I wanted to mention. Inspections is important, just as important as all the other aspects of it. How you approach it, having a team that knows how to assess the work that needs to be done, and just as important as the work that needs to be done, how it's presented and how you make your how it's communicated with the other side. So you guys can reach an agreement and possibly salvage a deal. That was something huge I wanted to mention. I hope that's been informational for you. It's always good to have at least a small group of carpenters you can talk to before you start getting into buying a house. If your father's a plumber, a family member work as an electrician, somebody who does concrete work, etc. Anything that might be along those lines, it's always good to reach out to them. Even present them the inspection reports, and they might say, bull crap, and I've been around long enough where I can call it like, that's a little bit an exaggeration, a stretch from the inspector trying to ring up a $6,000 bill, but the clients don't know that, and they're scared and they're afraid. I'm like trying to coach them. I say, well, get a second opinion, talk to somebody and show them this, and sure enough, they'll hear what I hear. Like, yeah, well, it's maybe more like a $800 fix compared to a $7,000 fix. But no, in either case, that's one key thing, is just the whole area of inspections, from how getting the inspections done to being able to assess them, and how to present it properly to ultimately end up winning. That's the goal here. So I hope this has been informational. I know it's too broad of a subject to try to go into depth in an area, but in general, I wanted to cover it because it's that important. I hope this has been informational. Once again, if you want to come work with us, all our clients are our friends, and we're with you from the beginning. We'll help you get your loan. We can represent you if you need it. If you don't have a realtor, if you have a realtor, even better. We'll work with them. We're team players here, and all as well. So that's it. Make sure to subscribe and like. And that's it. Hope you're all doing well. And on to the next one.